organisation. It's really powerful and it does amazing stuff. And all of these 22 clubs in the RIMERN group are doing things internationally. They're doing well market, which, gives them a fantastic income, but they are sharing their large and met a lot of other volunteer organisations. They're very powerful but it is so rewarding. Glass, because it just breaks and it's difficult to handle. We don't take bed bases, big brocade sofas and the floor. We all get things for Mother's Day that sit in the back of the cupboard, the ice. They give them pie makers and we do slow cookers and rice cookers. And sometimes we, it's up to their cooking style. We'll do pre-packed crockery and glasses and stuff, but then we'll add extras.
And Rotary, how long? It's 120 years old?
It is. And all over the world, even in Australia, I think there's probably over 22,000, I'm guessing, but Rotarians. A lot of people still think we're the sausage people outside Bunnings. We are sometimes, yes.
But you also do lots of other things.
Oh, yes. But as a global organisation, it's really powerful and it does amazing stuff. And all of these 22 clubs in the RIMERN group are doing things internationally. They're doing things locally. Some of them are wealthier because they've got things like the Rotary Club of Bull and they've got the Camberwell market, which, gives them a fantastic income. But they are sharing their largesse with other clubs. Right down to little clubs that have only got 8 members and, are scratching to sort of do anything really financially, but everything in between. And basically the underlying thing is that all Rotarians are just good people who want to help people.
And it's an organisation, as I said, it's been around for 120 years. And we here in Australia wouldn't survive without our volunteers.
Oh, no, that's right. I mean, when you look at things like the State Premier's Volunteer Awards, and we've been involved with the Minister for Women and met a lot of other volunteer organisations, they're very powerful in so many ways and they're just good people. And I must say, when you look at a lot of volunteer organisations, they are on the older side because a lot of retirees are volunteering.
Yes.
And a lot of younger people have got big mortgages and haven't got time and they've got young kids and what have you. So we oldies are really, kind of pushing that little mouse wheel as fast as we can and really having a powerful impact.
And how wonderful is that to, I often think I did do a little bit of Rotarian work for a little while, but it wasn't a day that suited me.
We'll have to get you back.
Yeah, and I will be back.
Good.
And because I know in my heart it's a good organisation to be involved in and to volunteer with. And I think we all, as humans, have to give back in some way, shape or form.
I like to say that if you've done well, you should do good.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we can't all help everyone, but we can all help someone.
And that creates a ripple effect, doesn't it? So if you help that person, then that person has the ability to be able to help someone else or talk about being helped and they can go and get some help as well. So that ripple effect is there regardless of whatever it is that happens.
I think there's also some anecdotal evidence. I've heard that people actually who have that example in their families of their parents volunteering are more predisposed to become, involved in community groups down the track. And I know my dear old mum, she was still delivering Meals on Wheels into her 80s, and she'd say, "Oh, this elderly gentleman." I said, "Cut it up, Mum, he's younger than you," But I mean, when you have a family example, and I think for people who are watching your show, it's one way of exposing your children and grandchildren to, philanthropy and, community service and stuff. If they see you doing it, they'll go, that's a normal part of life.
Yes. And it is really a normal part of life, isn't it?
You get back so much from volunteering.
It's quite incredible to think about all the volunteers that are around Australia and the good that they do. that aren't recognised, and they don't really look for that recognition. But if they weren't there, there will be a lot more people in worse situations than they are.
And the evidence does show all around the world that people that remain connected with their community by either faith groups or particularly volunteering, they do live longer.
And isn't that's a really good point. But it also gives them a purpose to get up every day.
That's part of the reason.
You know, if you live on your own and you're older and you haven't got anything else, or your family doesn't live close to you, whatever, or your friends have all gone, or whatever it may be, it gives you a purpose to get up, go out and do something useful and feel useful and valued. Absolutely.
And if you see our clients at RIMERN, when they arrive, they're a little bit anxious, and when they leave, they're beaming. And I have been hugged by men in ankle bracelets, Faye. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
But,
but it is so rewarding.
Right. It's ankle bracelets. You're just making me stop and think, ankle bracelet. Right. Okay. I don't want one of those. Thank you very much.
No, it's an optional jewellery.
Not for some.
True.
But, if you can be hugged by someone like that who appreciates something you've done for them, you see the good inside.
Oh, look, it doesn't take much to put a smile on some people's face. Most of these people would change, they would swap for our worst day every day of the week.
Yeah. And I've done some teaching of classes and things with people with mental health issues and things like that. And it's really interesting to listen to their stories and think to yourself how lucky you are to be in the situation that you're in yourself, and without seeing those other people going through what they're going through. And we can't really imagine what it is that they're going through.
No, look, it's very hard to put yourself in their shoes, but I think anyone with empathy can imagine. And there's many of our volunteers who are not wealthy. I mean, in fact, most of them. Many of them are borderline homeless themselves sometimes, that they still have a heart big enough to want to help other people, and that sort of community spirit where it really lifts them up. Let's face it, when you see someone worse off than yourself, you go home thinking, well, hey, my life's not so bad.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Susie, what does RIMERN actually need right now?
Look, we can always do with more volunteers, because many of our volunteers go travelling, have surgery, or have family commitments and what have you. So it's a bit of a churn. So if anyone's got any time, they could jump on our website, which is just rimern.org.au, and check out the kind of roles and just let us know when they've got some time. That would be amazing. But also goods at scale. So if anyone's from a hotel or a service department or a retailer, or a property stylist and that sort of thing, even real estate agents or property managers, we go all over the countryside and pick up a sofa here and a fridge there, and we'll still do that. That's the core of what we get. But when we have someone like Quest Apartments have recently said, hey, we've got 30 sofas, we go, yes, please.
30 sofas?
I know.
Wow.
And that's like sort of, Santa has arrived, because
it's a gold mine, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. And we've got some clients who jokingly say to us, my apartment looks like a Quest apartment, because they've got everything from the one batch. But anything at scale like that would be so helpful. So again, all they need to do is jump on the website and contact us. And we'd be very happy to come out with our little truck and collect it from them. So they're the two things, volunteers and stock.
Yeah. And if anyone at home has things like kettles that are sitting in the cupboard, or any sort of equipment that you do not use, it's been sitting there for a long time, then donate it. Because someone else who doesn't have it, and you've got multiples of it, can actually put it to good use.
We love love. You know, when people fall in love and they amalgamate 2 homes into one?
And they've got to get rid.
We do. We go, oh, Susie, I'm moving in with my partner. Would you like a fridge, a washing machine, a dryer? I go, oh, yes, please.
Oh,
we love love.
I like that. That's a good thing. But, you know, if there's things that are sitting around that take up space and collect dust, and I'm just thinking,
Just get them to, if anyone's watching, just jump on the website and check the list, because our clients are moving into tiny apartments.
Yeah.
And they haven't got room for big things. They've got no room for grand pianos or sideboards or, big antiques and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they tend to be younger, not young. Some of them are young, but they tend to be in that sort of 30 to 55 cohort. And they like more contemporary sofas with square arms and all that stuff. And some people say to us, oh, well, I thought they'd be grateful. And I go, well, we don't really do grateful. We're trying for joy.
Purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so please check the list first. And we have a list of what we do take, what we don't take, and why. And then it saves all this toing and froing with our donated goods volunteers about what people have and what we don't want and all that sort of stuff. For example, we don't take any furniture that has glass because it just breaks and it's difficult to handle. We don't take bed bases with multiple bits and bolts and slats and things because we just cannot keep them all together and rehome them as a unit, because when they're out of the box and there's no instructions, it's just too hard. We don't take a lot of the big brocade sofas and the florals and all that stuff because people just don't choose them.
Yes.
Sad but true.
Yeah.
But every day of the week we love vacuum cleaners and bedside tables and coffee tables and lamps, and we do even artwork. And so when our clients come through, they choose everything to their own taste.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily yours or mine.
That's right.
But it's theirs. So we ask them all to please send us photos of the rooms all set up, and they all say yes, and mostly they don't.
Yes.
But if any of us wants to follow us on our Facebook group, whenever we get the pictures, we do post them, and it just lights up because everyone goes, oh, that was my rug, or that was my sofa. But when they see how our clients put those decor stories together, they go, that's amazing, because somebody's junk is somebody's future.
Yeah. And what I liked about what you said was that, you know, you can go to the list on the website, but you explain why you don't take things.
Exactly.
And that is a really important part of, because you think, you know, I've got this and I've got this, but why don't you take it?
That's right.
And there is a logic to that.
Well, for this space question, for example, we all get things for Mother's Day that sit in the back of the cupboard, you know, the ice cream makers, the pasta makers, all of these things. We don't take any of that because they just don't have space. We take things like kettles, toasters, stick blenders, even vacuum cleaners. We prefer the sticks. We buy them for our clients because they take up less room.
Yeah.
But that we don't give them pie makers, and we do slow cookers and rice cookers. And a lot of our clients are refugees and they come from all over the world. And so a rice cooker is a really fantastic thing for a refugee family because they use a lot of rice.
Yes.
And sometimes we, it's up to their cooking style. We'll do a pre-pack cookware, both for ordinary and induction we do. So, and we'll do pre-packed crockery and glasses and stuff, but then we'll add extras. Would you like a big stock pot if they do lots of stews or make soups and things? If it's a big family, they have the bigger things, the bigger fridges. If it's just a single person, sometimes some of these men moving into a shared house might only have a bar fridge in their room. They've got no room for a sofa, but they'll have a little armchair in the corner.
Yeah. Something that they can actually sit on instead of on their beds.
And they love it because it's theirs.
Yeah.
It's safe. It's not rough sleeping. They can shut the door. Sometimes they'll even have a little balcony, and we'll give them a table and chairs for their balcony, and they can sit out there with their cup of tea and their cigarette or whatever they might have, and it's theirs. And it's really powerful.
And I'm not sure what I want to say there, but I think it's a security that they have, a bit of peace. within themselves that they're not sleeping on the street and they're not in danger of being robbed or anything like that.
Absolutely.
It's all about being in a secure environment, which gives them the comfort to maybe step out of that comfort zone and do something different.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, many of them get back on track, and indeed most, whether, as I mentioned earlier, education, employment, health. You know, people can't go for a job interview if they don't have a permanent address and can't be contacted.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many barriers to normal life, and secure housing should be just a fundamental human right.
Well, it should be, but it isn't. And, you know, you can expand on that. People can't go for a job because they don't have a permanent address. You can't get a bank account. You can't do anything. You can't do anything really that you need.
And you eat rubbish because you haven't got a kitchen to cook in. So for our clients that we're setting them up in a kitchen with a microwave and a blender and all of these things and a fridge, they now can actually go to the supermarket and buy fruit and veggies.
Yes.
How can they do that when they don't have somewhere to cook?
Yes.
So that has health impacts too, and budgetary impacts. If you're buying takeaway or a sandwich, that's way more, way more expensive than go and buy your groceries. No,
Well,
so it's tipped against them.
Yeah, look, you look at the packaged food and the takeaway food as opposed to the fresh fruit and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you get fresh fruit and vegetables, and you get a lot more food than what you would out of
And
packet.
no GST.
And no GST, yeah. But it's really interesting when you weigh it up. I mean, you look at the cost of food now, the vegetables and things, and then you look at the cost of packaged foods and you look what's in packaged foods. We won't go there. But it's all about quality, not quantity. And you can get vegetables and you can make a vegetable soup, which will go a lot further than buying a packet of something and just lasting one meal.
You're making me remember, we like to joke with a lot of our clients, depending on their situation when they come in, just to make them feel at ease. And I always say to them as they're leaving, okay, so did you do good shopping? And they all go, oh, yes. And I say, are you happy? And they say, oh, yes, I'm so happy. I go, okay, so when are we coming for dinner? And some of the men go, oh, like, are you serious? And then a lot of the volunteers go, yes, I'm coming and I'm coming and I'm coming. Some of them say, oh, that's okay. I go, can you cook? And they say, oh, yes. I say, so what's your best thing that you can make? And most of the men, guess what they say?
Toast.
Spaghetti bolognese. So I think we're going to have a lot of dining out on spaghetti bolognese.
But at least you can make a bulk of it and it lasts longer, and, you know, you're not constantly going out buying rubbish.
Yeah, look, we always tell them, no, look, we're just kidding. But they always feel like they've been treated with dignity. They've always been welcomed and treated like a customer. We don't do charity. They are our clients. They're our valued clients. They're treated as such. And as they leave, their whole body language is different. It's very rewarding.
They'd walk in quite sheepishly, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm. They're never quite sure, is this going to be somewhere that's going to, you know, talk down to me or treat me like a charity case or that? And we absolutely don't. The culture at RIMERN is very much about dignity and giving them choice. We don't rush them. We give them an hour and a half appointment if it's a whole house lot, and their worker comes with them. But we say, right, Mary is the customer, you the worker, you're just here for backup. Don't dominate her. And Mary, what colour do you like? Let's start with the sofas. You know, that forms the basis of your colour scheme. So we'll start there. We'll do all the heavy things downstairs. Then we'll go upstairs for all the smaller things. And by the end of it, you know, if she's chosen a blue sofa, then we've taken her to the cushion room and she's chosen a few pops of colour from the cushion room, and then to the artwork and lamps room. So at the end of it all, she's got just like a little dream home.
I'm looking forward to seeing all of this. I think it'll be absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
And you will get to see some of this as well. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's quite exciting really when you think about how we as the average person on the street,
The lucky people,
can go and do something purposeful for someone who has nothing.
There's so many ways, and it might even be an hour a fortnight or, 3 hours a week or whatever, but everything that any of our volunteers does impacts someone, and it's fantastic.
It's that ripple effect.
Sure is.
Absolutely. What would you like to say to the viewers, Susie, about RIMERN, and if they're homeless or they're
Right. Yep.
in a situation which they don't know where to go or who to ask or actually who to trust?
Exactly. Look, we are not frontline responders. All of our clients have to come to us as a referral. So they come through people like Launch Housing, Sacred Heart Mission, so many agencies. If you check our website, there's a whole lot of logos of agencies that we work through, and also our 22 member Rotary clubs, they can also sponsor people. What we can't do is people who contact us directly going, look, my fridge just died, or I need a new TV or something. We just don't have the resources to support people who are self-referred. We'd like to help everyone, but we just have to ration the stuff, So if they're struggling, maybe contact one of these agencies that they
Launch
can find
House
off out.
or-
Yes,
yeah.
Launch Housing, or even their local church or their local council can probably point them in the right direction.
Refer them on to where.
And there's different agencies support different people. For example, while we don't know people's story, we know that if a client's coming through Jesuit Social Services, it's usually a man just being released from jail.
Mm-hmm.
If people are coming from Frontline or Frontyard, it's usually a young person in the CBD. Sacred Heart Mission has a very broad scope of people because they've got a program for women. They've got all sorts of different programs. So that's another good one. They've got a lot of different hats. Launch Housing have got a number of different offices. I know they've got one in St Kilda, one in Collingwood, and there's, places like that. If you just go in the door, tell them your situation and see what help's available.
You could even go to your local council. You could go to the library. They could have some resources there for information to find out, or you could use the library to do some research if you don't have your own computer or phone or something like that. So there's ways and means that you can find out that doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is have, and I'm going to use the word bravery, be brave enough to ask for help.
Yes.
Don't sit back and not ask for help, because if you need help, you need help. So find someone that you can ask and then ask them, and they'll steer you in the right direction.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good first step.
Absolutely. I'm Faye, and this has been Conversations with Faye. If you want to know more about RIMERN, it's Rotary run, and it supports people who come from homelessness, domestic violence. They might come from jail, or they might be refugees and those sorts of people. If you're one of those and you're finding it hard, find someone that you can ask and they'll steer you in the right direction, and you'll find those people that you can trust to help you. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back next week with another conversation. It's bye from me for now. Just hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Changing lives, one conversation at a time.